Let me give you an example of this. There was a lady who came on the UK show Dragon's Den. She had been selling, basically her business was, you go to my website and you pay £10. In return for your £10, we'll write a lovely poem for the person you want to send it to, and we'll send them a bunch of a delicatessen pack of sweets, so like a lovely pack of sweets, lovely ones, I would imagine, lovely sweets. Now, this is something like you could get for someone's birthday without going more than £10. It looks personalized and they get something, and you don't have to spend much. Of course, within our first year of trading, and I don't remember the precise figure, but I believe she was making around £400,000. And when she talked about the actual net profit on that one, it was in excess of about 300,000. So naturally, you can see that this is a very good business. I mean, you write a lovely poem, you pack some sweets, you send it over, and at the end of the year, you're getting £300,000 net profit. That is relatively good. You'd be like, I like that business. In the second year of trading, now you expect a normal business venture to have growth. Growth is important. You imagine that in the first year, if you were making 400,000, you would like to grow to about maybe 600,000 in the second year. But in the second year, she made 320,000 and a profit margin of less than 200,000. Now this is slightly suspicious. Why is your profit margin going down and why is your revenue going down? In the third year, she was on track to basically make around 200,000, and of course with a net profit this time of about 80,000. Now imagine you're a dragon and somebody's just pitched this business to you. There's something that will come straight at you that will start to become a little bit concerned. At first you were excited, you were thinking, all right, this is a very good business, I want to get into it, there's a very high profit margin, you're doing great. In the second year, the revenue reduced, but so did the profit, but there's still significant revenue of about 200,000 net profit. But in the third year, again, the revenue reduced again and the net profit reduced as well. At this point in time, you want to find out why. Because your confidence in the product is starting to be eroded. And our answer was, well, I need you dragons to come on board. Because, well, the problem I'm facing is there's a lot of copycats services who are now doing the same thing as I am. And what they're doing is they're fighting me on price. So why did I need that much profit margin? You're selling yours for £10. I can sell mine for $8.99. I could sell mine for $7.99. Why might I even sell mine for £5 as long as I'm making profit? Which now turns this into a battle of monetary concern. She wants the dragons to help her in our business venture with the idea that I want you to basically help me brand my product so that my product is now the preeminent product in the world for this type of services. Not surprisingly, the dragons all declined our offer because they do not believe that the number, due to the high profit margin, they do not believe that the number of entrants will reduce. Rather, they estimate that it would rather increase. And with new player in the market will lead to slashing of costs until the product, the service area itself is oversaturated and nobody's making money. Their advice to her is simple. Don't spend any more money on advertisements. Don't spend any money on promotion. Just ride the storm until it's no longer profitable. This is not going to be that business that will still be here in the next 20, 15 years. This is that business that at some point will become oversaturated and it will no longer be able to generate the profit. So while it continues to generate the profit, keep the money and use the money for something else. But do not throw the money back into the pit, because there are too many sharks in there that will devour it. And that's what you need to consider when you're looking at the concept of new entrants. What is the likelihood that once we have our cake, we'll be able to eat that cake in peace? What's the likelihood that other people won't see that delicious cake, smell it from afar, and simply think, I want that. Whatever that is, I want myself a piece of that. And too many people means that the business proposition will lead to intense competition, which is bad for business. Another thing that we need to consider when looking at the intensity of competition is the power of suppliers. Undoubtedly, you must have heard in the news of late about what is going on in the world and the shortages that is causing. The power of supplier is looking at the people who are supplying your raw material. So either your raw material or your major product. Basically, the things you need to go to market. If there are plenty of suppliers, that is to say, you can easily go to, let's say, company A, company B, company C, company D for the same product. Under that circumstance, we will say the power of supplier is weak because you have means of negotiation. If A price is too high, you simply go to B. If B price is too high, you simply go to C or D. And it is rather them who must attempt to keep you as a customer on side. Because in that circumstance, you can go anywhere you want. But there are also circumstances where the power of supplier is high. And in particular, if you have a single supplier, that supplier A, for example, has what we call monopoly. That is to say, if that supplier says the price last week was £80, but this week is £100, your options are either to pay £100 and say, I begrudgingly pay the £100, and of course, or you go without. In particular, under these circumstances, because the price has now increased by 20%, you have no choice but to try and either absorb the price, absorb the loss yourself, or you pass it on to your customer. In which case, it's likely to result in intensity of competition as your customers either now buy less or they vote with their feet and try to locate somebody who will sell for less. So in that kind of circumstances, your supplier can become your Achilles heel. So in particular, in circumstances where you have one single supplier, your profit margin is not secure. Because whatever that is, that supplier can easily eat into it. Let me give you an example. For most glasses, most eyeglasses that you see at an optician. In the UK over here, there are the NHS ones, and of course, there are the branded ones. Most people like some form of branded ones as it just shows a degree of, I've got some money. But as a result, most of those branded ones are owned by one company who has the license to them. And because that company owns majority of the branded ones, they get to dictate what the price of that spectacle is going to be. So as an optician, if you want to sell this particular brand, you're going to need to basically negotiate with them. And that could obviously affect your own price matching.